Good morning. This is Rich Nass, Executive Vice President with Open Systems Media, and I'm here for this week's installment of 5 Minutes With. And this week, I will be speaking with Lancen LaChance, who is the Vice President of Product Management for IoT Solutions at GlobalSign. Good morning, Lancen.
Good morning, Rich. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure, my pleasure. So you're on IoT, and we're in the midst of our IoT roadshow. It's obviously an extremely hot topic these days. You are on the security side of IoT, if I understand this correctly, actually in alleviating the IoT-related security concerns. So I would like you to tell me, what are some of those concerns, and then more importantly, what are you doing about them? How do you alleviate those concerns?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can completely agree. It's such a hot topic today, and people are very interested in looking at how they address these ecosystems that they're building and trying to capitalize on for their businesses. Ultimately, what we look at when we're starting to think about IoT security is how do you mitigate certain risks of fraud or privacy or malicious actors coming into your ecosystem and potentially doing things with your assets and your systems that you don't intend them to do. And so really in these scenarios, it starts with a lowest level of looking at what are the potential threat vectors and what are the assets within the ecosystem. And in the IoT, these are often related to the endpoints or the devices that are being connected with new features and functionalities. And then from that level, you start thinking about, well, what are the potential impacts of those assets being compromised to really quantify a notion of risks in there. And so there's a lot of concerns over these endpoints and assets really becoming either additional entry points into a wider, broader set of the ecosystems, or protecting these endpoints from basically integrity manipulation and doing things that they're not supposed to, or enabling features potentially that the OEM or the ecosystem provider didn't intend, and they're losing real business revenue from those. And so at GlobalSign, we're really looking at how do you approach these problems from a higher level standpoint, and then apply some specific technologies and solutions into those and the life cycle and ecosystem of your product to address them.
So what specific technologies are you referring to?
So one of the core technologies that GlobalSign works within is PKI, or public key infrastructure. And so this is really almost a Swiss Army knife of information security principles. It really allows you to bootstrap a whole range of information security concepts, from identity and integrity of messages to encryption, so that when you deploy this in your ecosystem, you can use it in a range of mechanisms. One of the core things that we're doing with it right now is looking at how do you leverage PKI to build up strong device identity in your ecosystem and build up trust models that ultimately, when you look at trust is really based on identity. And so PKI, in conjunction with other mechanisms like secure hardware, like trusted platform modules, really enable providers to build that strong device identity that can then be used to afford a whole range of information security concepts.
Okay. So now you're referring to people who really want to enter a system, like hackers. You're not referring to like something happened by accident, right?
Well, yes and no. I mean, I think the main concern is a malicious actor scenario. Where somebody is coming in with an intention to do something in your system or product that you didn't intend, or you don't want to allow them to do so. But there's other mechanisms you can do to prevent just mistakes from being made to leveraging these same technologies. But really the core focus right now, and the concerns we hear from the customer base, is how do you just make it robust enough so that you can protect from malicious actors. The other, the other dimensions of this is, while we do think about information security as, compromise of data and financial compromise, as these solutions are being applied into like industrial spaces, energy, automotive, we have another dimension of risk in here that we're trying to address, which is actual safety, physical safety of humans and life. So those are new dimensions in some of these internet connected products that in prior information security practices weren't as prevalent, but they're becoming more and more important.
Okay. I think you said that very well. Now, I know you said that this will be a bigger problem as we go down in the future. Is there more to be done, or are we doing a good job of staying ahead of the malicious guys today?
I mean, I think, there's tons more to be done, and there's tons of people in the industry doing really good things, but there's also a paradigm shift we see in some of these OEM and product manufacturers that they're coming from a history and experience of competencies in engineering and operation, electrical, mechanical design, that once you start making these connected products or these products connected and smart, now you are exposing the whole range of information security and computer science into the realm of the products. And so this is something that we talk about a lot, is security by design. And security by design is twofold. One, it's looking at how you address some of these risks that I've talked about before, but there's also another dimension, and I wrote a blog post about this recently, as to how the organizational competencies are evolved to address this. That security isn't just a checkpoint in the process. Security isn't just a separate function. Security is something that you build into your engineering organization, your company culture, that you have to think about how you're building these new products. And so that's kind of one of the paradigm shifts that we're seeing in these product manufacturers, that they do want to capitalize on the IoT, but they don't necessarily have this organizational competency yet.
I definitely agree with that last part about how it has to be built into the design process and not just an afterthought, oh my God, we have to add security to this. Unfortunately, we have used up our 5 minutes, though, so we will not be able to get into that here and now, but we definitely will down the road. I want to thank you, Lancen. That was Lancen LaChance. He is the Vice President of Product Management for IoT Solutions at GlobalSign. I am Rich Nass with Open Systems Media, and I hope you have a great day.
Thanks a lot, Rich.